Okay, what did you guys come up with? Read the entire poster, please.
Providing visual aids, accommodation modifications such as visual caring, hands-on, getting the right materials to meet learning, different materials, centers, hands-on.
Providing instruction in multiple ways for all learners. Visual and manipulatives are important. Flexibility, accommodations, modifications, engaging with exclamation point. Giving accommodation and the modifications needed. Options, motivation focused. Teacher flexibility, quick and positive
different
feedback.
lessons based off the standard. Helps all learners of all levels of learners meet the same standard. Brings learning down to the student level in multiple ways.
By providing many opportunities for students to learn that standard in a way that fits the learning style, can teach the same standard in different ways to accommodate the different learning style, different ways to present the material but still meeting standards. You can teach many students in one lesson to many learners. You can teach many standards in one lesson to many learners. And many options, strategies to help all learners achieve goals.
Reinforcement should be appropriate for the behavior, therefore it is differentiated and specific to the student. When differentiating your instruction, it's important to use a variety of reinforcements. Reinforcement should be both planned as well as naturally occurring. It needs to be flexible and meaningful to the students working and the tasks being completed.
How might differentiation in instruction and assessment impact grading and other forms of accountability? The type of assessment could be different based on the instruction. If this is the case, grading would be affected because students would be assessed on different standards and expectations. Differentiated report cards could be an option, although not always available options. Assessments can be both formal and informal. Based on the lesson, could determine the type of assessment given. Each instruction and assessment will have different grading and other accountabilities. Authentic assessments.
Grading should be appropriate for the type of lesson and assessment that has been done. The grading needs to go along with this differentiation. The process of collecting the grades is different, and a variety of assessments can be used to accommodate the learning styles. You can use formal or informal assessments.
And going on about having to use it in like word form, standard form, all that. So we do with the
main ideas, details, or however you're going to set it up. Well, you could even like, once you have this, make another web off of that. Take like a huge web. I think we're ready.
They can be non-standard.
Right.
Reading for 3rd grade. It was know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis skills in decoding words, and decode words with common land suffixes. So we like made the word like emptiness or printable, and they can like just separate the words. So they know what empty is, they know what ness is, and then they can put it together. And the same thing with printable. They can like separate the words out and know what one is and the other, and then they can put it back together.
Okay.
Our next one was ELA, write opinion pieces on topics or text, supporting a point of view with reasons, using linking words and phrases like because, therefore, since, for example, to connect opinion and reasons. So we would give them an outline starting with I, because we would tell them if it's an opinion piece, you're going to be saying what you like and what you liked about like whatever you read, and then by following with because and explaining why.
Great.
You like that.
Okay.
And then for math, it was solve real-world mathematical problems involving perimeters of polygons, including finding the perimeter given the side length. finding an unknown side length, and exhibiting rectangles with the same perimeter in different areas or the same area in different perimeters. So we made a rectangle for them with numbers, so then they could move the numbers up to the problem, and then we would give them clues of what the number is, and we see that there's 2 5s, so there must be 2 2s, so that's when they would put the 2 in there, and then they can see that opposite sides have to be equal in a rectangle.
Awesome.
The next one was science analysis, to carry out their plans for exploring phenomena through direct observation and through the use of simple instruments that permit measurement of quantities such as length, mass, volume, temperature, and time, record their observations accurately and concisely. So again, we made a chart like they would find the length of their pencil. What was the length of their pencil, and I used a ruler to find the length of my pencil. Same mass of their water bottle. What was the mass and what did you use? And the temperature of a liquid, what was it and what did you use?
Great.
And then last was social studies, and it's culture and civilizations, and it's where people settled to live and why. We just made a chart of like where they want to settle, and then next to it they'd put why they wanted to settle
So our
there.
first standard for ELA was basically like Sarah and Kim's, where they had to use decoding skills to look for common prefixes and suffixes. So we also said that they could write out the word on here, move down the prefix or the suffix, maybe write it down and say what it means. So pre means before, and then they would have their aha moment, oh, preschool, that's before you go to school. That makes sense. That was our first one. For writing, it had to do with writing an informative or explanatory paragraph where you would have a topic sentence, detailed sentences, and a concluding statement. So we thought that they could write their 3 sentences in different colored markers to show the differences between them, or you could have them write the paragraph first in one color and then underline each section of it in another color. So 2 different options.
Good.
And then our math was they had to have a 3-digit number and understand the numbers represented. So we took, it had to be, you had to be able to read or write the numbers to 1,000 using the base 10 numerals, or the name the number or expanded form. So we did like, they write it out, so there's 400, 2 10s, 3 3s, and then we just write the name, write it right out, and then we did an expanded form, so 4, 20, and plus 3 equals 4.6.
Good.
So our first standard was for ELA, yes, reading, 5th grade. Use combined knowledge of all letter sounds, correspondences, syllabication patterns, and morphology, which was the main focus of it. So we had the root word do, and then the prefix re, so it could be redo or undo, and then doing. So changing the context of the word just by simply putting a prefix or a suffix.
Great.
For writing, we had developed the topic with facts, definitions, concrete details, quotations, or other information and examples related to the topic. So at that point, we just figured to do a basic word web with the topic and showing that, you know, that they can have subtopics off the main ideas and then even topics off those, because they're 5th grade, so they can do the more complex details. For math, it was to classify 2-dimensional figures in a hierarchy based on properties. So we kind of set up a little chart and put the number of sides at the top, and then they have to draw as many shapes as they can think of that have those sides.
Nice.
So obviously, I couldn't think of anything, but there's different types of triangles though, so they probably put the equilateral, the isosceles, and different things like that. Square, rectangle, the trapezoid, and the
parallelogram.
Thank you. Parallelogram under 4, pentagram, and then the octagon, and I chose 8 because it's something that we see every day. So at the bottom I also said, where do we see these? So they'd have to come up, where do I see a triangle in the classroom, in real world? A 4-sided figure, a 5, and an 8-sided figure.
Nice.